Let's go to Nick in Myrtle Beach. Nick.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just wanted to talk about Gleyber Torres. Yesterday, you said that you don't think he's that bad of a fielder.
Right.
He has 14 errors, which leads the American League second baseman, and he should have a few more. The official scoring is so bad this year, and I know because I'm an official scorer for a minor league team, but they want everything
all of
scored
Major League, not just the American League. All Major League second basemen.
The ground ball when Leiter came in was hit directly at Gleyber Torres the other day.
I agree.
And it was scored hit. Now, the other thing about him that really irks me, and you probably feel the same way, maybe you don't, but there's twice this year where he was in a rundown and he gave himself up. It happened against Boston in the first inning when he got a base hit, drove in 2 runs, or up 3-0 first inning. He stops between first and second, and as he's getting tagged out, he's taking his batting glove off. How does he do that? How did the Yankees let him get away with doing that? And he's done it more than one time this year. Try to get out of the rundown. Maybe you'll force a bad throw.
Well, I mean, I think what's happening, Nick, and I thank you for the phone call, is that the Yankee fans take turns on who's going to be public enemy number one. So, it was Gallo. It shifts to Boone every now and then. Constantly, it's Cashman. But the crosshairs right now are on Gleyber Torres. And it's hard to really berate them for that. His body language is never great. I don't think he's an instinctively great player. I think, over the last 20-some-odd games, he's hitting over 300, so it's closer to the player that he should be. But when you say he's a bad fielder, you can take the errors, and there have been some bad fielders. There have been some good fielders that make a lot of errors. Doesn't mean that they're bad fielders. Now, do I think he's a great second baseman? No, I don't. Do I think he's a bad one? No, I don't. I think he's average. He's average, and he has mental lapses where he gets lazy in the field. Now, in terms
how
of
about he's not average?
Taking off batting gloves, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He's out. He's out. Well, it doesn't matter if he's taking off his batting gloves.
I think it's sort of like just a message of what it looks like, the timing of when you do that, and it sort of looks like you're resigned or whatever. Yeah. But Michael, could you say you're saying that overall you consider him to be an average fielder?
Yeah,
but that's not what
terrible.
he is now.
He's not terrible.
But right now he's terrible.
Well, when he makes lazy errors, it makes him look worse than he is. He's got good range. He's not bad at turning the double play, but fundamentally he's not a perfect player, and he's never been a great electricity in his body sort of player. But as I mentioned last week, Robinson Cano wasn't either, and Robinson Cano, if he didn't get caught with PEDs, probably go to the Hall of Fame. He's not that, but just because somebody looks like they have a slow motor doesn't mean that they're a lazy player. That's the way they play. And I think that fans would rather they, run to first base like Brandon Nimmo, whatever the case. I get it. I'm not exonerating him. He's had a bad year. But to say he's a bad fielder, you're looking at the errors and you're making that leap, and I think you're wrong. I don't think he's a bad fielder. I think he's average. Joe in Morris Plains. Joe.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Listen, I've never been a fan of Gleyber's. I've wanted him gone for the last 3 years. You had a caller that called in about the errors and stuff, and he's absolutely right, okay? But now it's getting to the point with me where these last 50 games or so that we have for the season, I can't sweat this kid out anymore at second base. I mean, Boone's got to acknowledge that he's a defensive liability, okay? And you have moves that you can make. That's DJ's regular position. He could be moved there. I mean, I know that he likes to sub DJ to first, with Rice. Rice, if I got to take my choice between Rice right now and Gleyber out there, I'm going to go with Rice. I mean, Rice hasn't done anything that I could say that the kid's horrible at first base. So, I mean, it's just my opinion. I mean, I'm sweating these games out lately, like in the 8th and 9th inning. And there's no reason for him to be in the game at that point.
I think, Joe, if he loses games there, then they will do it. But I truly believe they don't think he's a terrible second baseman. And despite what the errors tell you, he's probably a better second baseman than Ben Rice is a first baseman. I mean, Ben is a neophyte. He's a catcher who's done a really nice job at first, but you're not going to confuse him with Don Mattingly. I mean, he does make some mistakes over there, and nobody's ripping him for it. So I understand taking him out for defense. They don't think Gleyber Torres is a bad defender. They don't, and he's not. And they in a close game, if you take him out, that means you're taking out his bat too. And he's hit over 300 for 22 games. So he's finally waking up. So if you actually put DJ LeMahieu there, and I know he had 6 RBIs the other day in Philadelphia, this guy hitting 180. So what if the lineup comes around to him in a close game again? Wouldn't you rather have Gleyber Torres up than DJ LeMahieu? These are the questions that Aaron Boone has to deal with. All right, what's the likelihood of Gleyber making an error that's going to blow a game? And then what's the likelihood of DJ LeMahieu getting a hit in a big spot in the 8th or 9th inning when Gleyber Torres would have been up?